Welcome back to the Battle Montage episode of Pokemon Crystal Walkthrough before we take on the Elite Four. I want to evolve my Eevee. I want to make sure most of my team members are at the approximate same level because Eevee here is getting a ridiculous amount of experience points. It's already at level 42 and still has not evolved. I guess we should have gotten it more haircuts, huh? Well, all things aside, I'm going to be just simply fast battling all these Pokemon, putting it, of course, to some kind of game music soundtrack, because listening to my voice drone on while you see fast imagery could get boring. Lots of dud duos out there. But I want all my members at approximately the same level. So I'm going to not only battle montage Eevee to the top and evolve it into Umbreon, but I'm also going to level out all the rest of my members. That's something that you have to consider when you're fully training and evolving a team of 6. It's a lot easier, I will admit, to do just a simple team of 3 strong, super leveled up team members for the game. I've done that in many a Pokemon RPG. It's not as satisfying though, because you don't get to have the full experience in close call battles like we do. So you have to consider going back and maybe doing a super training montage yourself if you can't manage to get all your members leveled up to where you need them to be. And it's a good thing that it's just me overdubbing this episode, because boy, the audio gets funky and out of whack for sure here. I've definitely pinned down that going faster does throw things out of whack, and it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, we're gonna see how much it takes. Place your comment bets now. What level is Eevee going to burst into an Umbreon? Of course, we're not even in the right day-night cycle. Eevee needs to be evolved at night in order to become an Umbreon. And you can see out in this field there's lots of status effects you can get too, so don't be too hasty to use all your full heals in the field with that shack nearby. You're going to need those more for the Elite Four when you can't go to some person to re-heal your team all the way. And if you do have the move Payday, if you have a Meowth or something that can use that move, you might want to use it on these wild types. This way you can build up lots and lots of pay really fast in order to buy a lot of items when you get to the Indigo Plateau. That's something I didn't show, but they do have a market there in order for you to buy last minute items like hyper potions and full heals. But you're going to want to consider bringing some, because that's something specifically challenging about the Elite Four. Every gym that we faced allows us to go back out of the gym at some point. No! Eevee is ready to evolve. We just need to wait until night. So let's train until night, and then we will level up Eevee. But at least its happiness is maxed out, so I'm not going to mess it up. But every gym we went to allowed us to go back out to a Pokemon Center at some point, right before we took on the last big boss of the gym, and even they were challenging. This is like 4 bosses in a row, plus a champion, and we are not able to go back to a Pokemon Center at all. So it's all reliant on the items we've purchased, it's all dependent on our Pokemon's leveling, and battle montages like these are not shameful things to do. Yes, they take out large chunks of your time, but if you're just casually doing it on the side of living while you're on the bus, wherever you are playing your portable version of this, maybe it's even on an emulator on an Android or iPhone device, I don't know, however you want to play it. I would like to see it on 3DS come out in the Virtual Shop for sure. This way we don't have to worry about the battery drainage loss. That's what making it on an emulator, playing it on an emulator makes it so worthwhile. But wherever you're playing it, just plug in some extra time to get lots of level ups like I'm doing here. And you can count how many wild Pokemon. The commenter who gets it right, oh man, that would be amazing. I would have to take note of your comment status, but I wouldn't even be able to tell you if you're right, because then I'd need a closed count of how many Pokemon I've faced this episode. But it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. So be sure that you split up all the trainers that we faced in the past somewhat more evenly than I did. I mean, it's all because of Eevee that it was so disproportionately spread out. So you have to pay for it some way. And something that I don't do in this entire walkthrough, because it does interrupt the recording, is get phone numbers of many trainers. There's a lot of trainers in the region that will reverse you, kind of like Dana Lass already called us. Dana Loss. I think of her as Dana Loss because she loses every time she faces our team. But Dana Lass will battle you every time, and many others around the Johto region will call you up for periodic battles, and that will keep your leveling up more consistent amongst 6 team members. Kind of put myself at a disadvantage by not doing that, really I do. But it's all a matter of recording smoothly, so that's fine. I mean, even just one number ends up showing up in the walkthrough more than I'd like it to do. So, it's too bad. Oh, but this training montage, it goes on and on and on and on. You know, it's interesting, the level up, how it correlates to a game, because another game that I'm playing right now that is a role-playing game of sorts would be Skyrim. And I'm level 29, I think, in that game, but I'm taking on enormous dragons, taking on crazy phantoms and undead things and Wolverine creatures and crazy shits all over the place, and level 29 is significantly fine. I mean, it's all a matter of perspective of where the level cap is. I don't know where it is in that game. I forgot what it was in Fallout 3 too, and I even got it somewhat risen because I bought the Brotherhood of Steel DLC. That pissed me off big time. The fact that you had to complete pretty much the end of the game, the end sequence, to find out what happens in a DLC pack. The ending of Fallout 3, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it, but it seemed very much like a cliffhanger to me. Anyway, with Skyrim, level 29, just fine. But in Pokemon, you want to have your members by the Elite Four leveled up to at least about 40. At least. Every single 6 member, if you're not doing the overpowered 3-member method. At least to level 40. And that will give you a good fighting chance. But the big thing you have to worry about is the champion at the end. Just when you think you've gotten through all the Elite Four members, you have to fight a champion. And he is no laughing matter. He poses quite a threat to your team. And that's all I'll say. I too want to leave cliffhangers and make you want to come back for more, but I don't charge you for it. It's just a free walkthrough. But just trying to vary up where we go in this training montage. You get so bored seeing and facing one type of Pokemon, and there we saw Dodrio whoosh by in a mass of Thunderbolts. It's one thing, we don't have Thunderbolts. We only have Thunder Shock. Okay, I don't know why I am going back. There we go. Oh, probably to switch some Pokemon out. I forgot that not all my members I needed to train were with me. So you get too in the mode of just kicking ass really fast, you forget exactly what you were doing at the PC. And now it is night, and now it will be alright for Eevee to level up and finally evolve into an Umbreon. Need to make sure that I have the right Pokemon to get back over to this sector. There we go. I was wondering if I needed to use my waterfall, but not necessary. If you just get back to the Kanto segment of the map, you can fly simply back to the Elite Four's building and then go back and retrace your steps. Thankfully, evolution at night works for Eevee. No! Oh, we have a rare candy. Please don't hate us, Eevee. Yes! It's evolving! We finally did it, guys. Our Eevee evolved into an Umbreon. That's freaking fantastic. Self-destructed, but whatever. Freaking Gravelers and their self-destruct, man. That's why you don't have to train in that area if you don't have water Pokemon to get the quick jump on them. But now we have a fully evolved team, and I just want to make sure our levels are equaled out as well. Give an experience share to fighters that are not mainly offensive, like Mr. Poof. And now we're training 2 at the same time. Yes, I'm so happy that we have an Umbreon now. I can't tell you how long it took me in my other version in my cartridge-based game to get that. It took until about level 40s for me to get an Umbreon in that game too, but by that point I was already at Mount Silver, far past the usefulness of needing it to help me throughout my main game. So, suffice to say, it's much nicer to have it early on, so we can enjoy an Umbreon throughout the post-League adventures, because every Pokemon game has those, whether it's small or large. And that's the wonderful thing about Crystal, it was quite copious, very large indeed. So as we near the Elite Four, we train up our members even more. I want to know who's playing along and what is your team turning out to be. Just to see how everyone's team does against the Elite Four, it'd be interesting to see how rankings and ratings went up. Be more interesting if you could post your own video, but if that's not possible, so be it. And Dana Lass calls again. She is also useful for getting us a Thunderstone, which was absolutely necessary to evolve our Pikachu into the Raichu that we know it to be now. So, even though she calls on occasion, and you can't delete her from the phone book, it's nice to have a fully evolved Raichu. Plus, you gotta think how many hours I spent training doing this. And in the game time, I mean, of course. You know, this is has got to be like a day or so. And she was just being a good friend, calling up, making sure I'm not dead. Here I am critiquing it, but she doesn't even know. We're on the Elite Four path. Almost. Just have to level up a little bit more. I want all my members to be sufficiently fighting fit, and I don't want to have to struggle and go back. That's one of the worst things that I do not want to do, is be defeated by one of the members and be put back in my place to redo every single match. That would be a disgrace. Even if we have to use some healing items on the path, which is fine by me. At least we will not be defeated by any of the members in the next episode.